So what is Wurtz reaction, where it is useful, how it is asked in examinations. These lines we'll discuss now. Wurtz reaction is a very special coupling reaction. You can say it is a coupling reaction. Coupling reaction means what happens in coupling reaction? Rx plus sodium XR I am writing. The meaning of this is alkyl halide when treated with sodium metal in the presence of dry ether. In the presence of dry ether, when you are treating the alkyl halide, this Rx is alkyl halide. When treated with sodium metal in dry ether, it is going to form R and R. Two R units are going to join. This is called hydrocarbon. Okay, hydrocarbon, you can say an alkane is formed. These two sodiums joining with X to form sodium halide. Okay, in organic chemistry, byproducts are generally not important, so don't worry about this sodium halide. Just look at this reaction. What may be the mechanism, and what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages? All we'll discuss now one by one. Wurtz reaction. Okay, so this is a coupling reaction. You can say in Wurtz reaction, what actually happens is I'll go with one example. You see, methyl chloride. If I take sodium metal and again methyl chloride, as you are expecting, right? This part is out in the presence of dry ether. Remember, always in the presence of dry ether. So you are getting there C2H6 ethane. If it is C2H5Cl or C2H5I, this is sodium out again. C2H5, you are getting here C4H10, done. So for these kind of reactions, it is a wonderful reaction, a superb reaction to get alkanes with even number of carbons. For even number of carbon atoms, it is a wonderful technique, wonderful. But if you want to go with an odd number, okay, look at this. If you have any doubt, I will explain it again. Because repeatedly I am going to write the similar reactions. Now, if I am using CH3Cl and sodium metal and C2H5Cl, and if you are expecting that this sodium chloride will be out and methyl will be joining with ethyl to form C3H8. C3H8. Partly you are right. Okay, I will make this here. Okay, partly you are right. That is C3H8 is possible. C3H8 is possible. But interestingly, two methyls also can join to form C2H6. Two ethyls also can join to form C4H10. Two methyls will be converted to ethane. Two ethyls can be converted to butane, because you are not taking a single molecule. You are taking some amount. If you are taking 1 gram of this, also having some crores of compounds. Okay, now. So the crores of molecules, there is no rule that every methyl should attack only on ethyl. Two methyls can join, two ethyls also can join. When two methyls are joining, ethane. When two ethyls are joining, butane. When a methyl attacks an ethyl, that is going to be a propane. And separation of this will be a tough job. Okay, now separation of this will be a tough job. So generally, don't use this reaction for the preparation of hydrocarbons, or you say alkanes with odd number of carbons. For odd number of carbons, this is a worst method. We should not use this one, because we are getting here a mixture. Okay, why we are getting mixture here? Okay, that you can again say.
So then which will be the major product?
I didn't get you. Can I get you? Can I hear you?
Yes, sir. You have written 3 products now, sir.
Yeah.
In that, which one will be the major one?
No, we can't say beta. All are equally possible. Okay. You cannot say major. That's why we don't use this reaction only, because all possibilities are there. A methyl can attack on another methyl. A methyl can attack on ethyl. So all possibilities will be there. So you cannot determine. That's why for even odd number we don't use this one. A mixture is formed. All the 3 will be there. No, you cannot decide which is major. Fine.
Yes, sir.
All 3 are possible, because you see the mechanism now. You see, methyl chloride. If we are having this one, sodium metal we are using, we know that sodium in the outermost shell contains one electron. This one electron is, this chlorine is undergoing the homolytic cleavage in this bond and is going to form sodium chloride, and methyl free radical is going to form. When two such methyl free radicals join, you will be getting their ethane. You can ask now, what is the proof for this reaction? The proof is, for example, if you are having C2H5Cl, when you are treating with sodium with one electron, you are expecting your C2H5 free radical plus NaCl. Correct? That's absolutely right. C2H5 free radical can join with another C2H5 free radical to form C4H10. This is what we are expecting. This is major, you can say. But the minor, here minor are, along with this you see CH3, CH2 free radical. One more I am taking, CH2 free radical with one hydrogen here. This hydrogen is coming this side. Okay, I will just make it here. It will be easy to understand. This hydrogen along with its electron, it is coming this side, and you are getting here C2H6. This bond is coming here, this electron and this one electron is forming a double bond here, CH2 double bond CH2. So in alkane and in alkene, you can say this reaction as disproportionation reaction. Disproportionation reaction means a reaction in which, okay now, one atom undergoes oxidation, second atom undergoes reduction. You can see this is gaining hydrogen, it is losing hydrogen. Gaining of hydrogen reduction, losing of hydrogen is oxidation. So this is a disproportionation reaction. You can see these in minor quantities, not major, minor quantities. But the existence of ethane and ethene indicates that the reaction follows free radical mechanism. What happened in the reaction? Sodium taking the chlorine, methyl free radical is formed. Such free radicals are joining to form the alkane. Ethyl free radical, two ethyls, butane, but it can undergo even disproportionation reaction also. When it is undergoing disproportionation reaction, the products are alkane and alkene. Formation of alkane and alkene is the proof for this reaction. Okay, just have a look at this reaction. If you want, I will send you the complete reaction in some time. Fine. Now the question is, if you are having such difficulty to form alkanes with odd number of carbons, then what is the best method? We have Corey-Howe synthesis. That reaction we will discuss a little later. Before that, you look at this reaction. Some examples. If it is chlorine, this is also chlorine. If you are using sodium and dry ether solvent, you remember that must be dry ether always. So you can expect here a product like this. Chlorine, chlorine out, a bond is formed like this. Otherwise, if you are having a chlorine, only one chlorine, so you can't get here. But if you are using sodium dry ether, this is going to form a bond with another one. Two units are going to join. And if it is given like this, a chlorine and a bromine, one chlorine, one bromine, so you can expect this product. Again, a chlorine, bromine both will be going in the similar way, and you are getting a bond here. This is one possible. Another possibility is of bromine and chlorine, bromine bond will be little weaker, so breaking of this will be easy, and you can get this product. You will be getting this product. Chlorines are not disturbed. Bromines are only disturbed because both possibilities are there. Bromine, chlorine both can go, and it can form a compound like this. Otherwise, bromine only will go, and it is going to join two units, and you are getting a compound like this. So